Bien, nous allons commencer les départages de ce deuxième Open Dole. Donc entre les deux champions, il y a un tirage au sort pour la couleur. There will be a drawing of lots for the color. So on the cross table you have first, so you will make the drawing of lots. Et au tirage au sort, le grand maître Malek a les noirs. Donc le grand maître Inayan joue avec les blancs, le grand maître Malek avec les noirs. Deux parties en 15 plus 3, deux parties rapides. There will be two rapid games. The rate of play is 15 minutes and 3 seconds for each move. And if ever it's a draw, there will be an Armageddon. I will explain you. You've got 5 minutes between the two games. Gentlemen, you can start the game.
Okay.
Well, that was a surprise comeback. We actually already started the tie breaks. Etienne is playing white against Jan Malek, and we have to say it is a rapid game. 15 minutes plus 3 seconds for each player. Tiebreak consists of 2 rapid games, and in case of 1-1, there's Armageddon. But let's first finish first game to talk about that.
Exactly, and we started off with Queen's Gambit, where most players are very quick at the beginning. It seems that they did make up their minds what to play in the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's always hard to say if it's better to start with white or black. I can't say I have a clear preference on that. I would maybe prefer to start with black, because even if in the case you lose the game, then in a must-win situation in the second game, it's better to have white. And it's just psychological, of course, mostly because throughout career I had to play whites and blacks in first game anyway. So. And we see Rook C1, B6. Not maybe the most ambitious continuation from black, but obviously a normal one. Yes, I think that maybe he is aiming for something similar, like he played against Nils Grandelius, and Etienne, on the other hand, is a very experienced player. I think that we mentioned this during today's stream. He had been in this situation actually last year. In the last round, he did need to win on demand, and managed. This time he managed. Last time he didn't really work out, but somehow, maybe from a higher point of some kind of well, I don't know if something like this exists in chess. My experience is that not too much, but some justice was done to him at least. Let's see if he manages to push this till the very end, to the very successful end. Anyway, he will be already quite happy with the outcome of the tournament, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But once you are here, you already want to finish it off in style, and so far, nothing really serious is going on. I wouldn't say that I would consider any other players bigger favorites in this mini match, because, of course, both of them started the day at 9:30, and both of them won their games with white. So maybe a bit unexpected for both of them to have a tiebreak at all for first place, because it did seem that Pavel Eljanov was in control for the most of the tournament.
Well, nobody's really planning for tie breaks, in round 6, 7, 8. But if it happens, I don't think anybody can be too upset about it. And I don't think these two players are upset by playing this. I saw Jan Malek actually already prepared around 30 minutes ago in the playing hall. So definitely ready to play. And we do have the exchange on c4. So change of pawn structure, which means that bishop on b7 is active.
Yes, of course, after dc4, b6, bishop b7 makes a little bit more sense. On the other hand, it also lets the pressure of center. White will try to finish development, most likely going for some queen e2, rook fd1.
Yeah, if white manages to achieve that, I would not complain taking white myself, but I think c5 would be very challenging by black. He starts with a6, which is completely fine.
Yeah, maybe queen e2.
Queen e2, can I still go c5?
Oh, yeah, c5, maybe I will have to take on c5 and go something like... Yeah, we will not be analyzing much during the tiebreak games, because the games we have to remind is that they are they are not blitz games, but shorter, rapid games, because official time control usually in in events like a FIDE World Cup, for example, is 15 plus 10, but we have 15 plus 3 here, which is making this something in between, well, a blitz game or longer blitz game. I would consider this, because it's not so much time to have any especially deep analysis here. So we will try to catch up with the players and do hopes that everything will work properly in a technical point of view, because well, in blitz games sometimes well, the technique is not necessarily perfect. First, let's say a longer thing for Etienne at this moment. He, after a6, he most likely makes up his options. Well, a3 at the end. I was thinking about a4 also. That's not allowing b5. a3 is quite modest, not very ambitious maybe, but he just I think that he wants to have something like today.
I think he prefers to play b4 if black doesn't go c5, because I think really c5 is the most challenging move you can play with black in the position. So in case black doesn't go c5, I will go b4.
Yeah, a3 suggests that you consider going b4, or maybe also having in mind an option to go with bishop a2.
Yeah, bishop e1, queen d3, and we're looking at some checkmates, but it's long way.
In general, I think that he believes today he won a very nice positional game. So maybe if you feel like this is a way to go, and you were successful today with that against another young Polish player, so maybe he thinks that this is the right way to go. And well, we do use evaluation bar in our streams this time, as the games are very quick, so we want to know if something is going on. And it seems that knight e5 doesn't well, our evaluation bar doesn't like knight e5 from white, and suggests that in case of knight takes e5, the e5 knight d7, this is a preferable version for black. Which requires some concrete
calculation.
No, maybe not so much of calculation itself, but just to understand that this is a good moment to exchange. Instead, black goes for cd4, ed4, aiming for a typical Isolani position. But
how do I continue rook c8 now? So he doesn't want to go knight e5. This does indicate that.
In case he wanted to take on e5, he would have done it without exchanging on d4. So I would believe that something like rook c8 or maybe knight b6 is his plan. But then this e3 bishop a2 makes
a lot of
sense. Yeah, just bishop b1, queen d3s.
Well, I'm even looking at some rook e1, knight f7s, you know. But okay, once the knight comes to d5, then maybe I would move to bishop e1. Or immediately what you suggested, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think it's very challenging for black.
A bit strange from I like to take on d4. And then continue thinking here. I mean, in case he wasn't sure what he was going to do after cd4, then it's of course the end of a very tiring day, and not only tiring day, but also a very difficult tournament. So, of course, this is the play from both sides may not be absolutely perfect. But well, it's a bit tactically strange decision to take on d4 and then think again. Yeah. So.
Okay, I mean, maybe he wanted to play something and now change his mind whilst he recalculated it. For example, maybe he completely forgot about this bishop b1 idea, or he still wants to take on e5, and he's just...
Could be, yes, just checking his options. So knight e5 is still possible, and then to going for some more exchanges even, or knight d7.
Yeah, apparently knight e5, d5, knight e4 is possible from black side, and going, yeah, like you said, for a lot of exchanges, but rook c8, I think, the most logical move in the position.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, big queen d3, bishop b1.
Well, not queen d3 immediately, I guess, but white has to, well, maybe bishop b1. Also, I would say it's not very important at the moment, of course, but there's a healthy advantage on time here. So Etienne's got almost extra 3 minutes, which still, of course, for a player which we are used to players with young players with a very good blitz skills. So still 10 minutes, it's a lot of time. But this 3 seconds increment is not so significant as an increment. I mean, 10 seconds is usually more serious addition to your clock. 3 seconds is just barely something not to lose time. Yes. So bishop b1 now. Just asking black if he. Oh, now of course
he can take still, on e5.
Well, but it's not so good anymore, no? Because knight e5, d5, and then the queen c2 ideas.
Yes.
Don't really. I mean, if he hasn't taken on e5 in two previous occasions, then it's hard to imagine him to take now. Well, another option is rook e8, knight f8. Now, it's a typical error which can do. I'm not sure he's in time to do that, but rook e8 and knight f8 is a classical way to protect an h7 square, because of course white's plans you perfectly summed up with queen d3, maybe rook d1s, and trying to launch an unpleasant attack against black king.
Okay, I think we're already at the point where Jan feels slightly uncomfortable just because of this checkmate threat. I wonder if rook e8 he knows exactly how to defend, and if I go queen d3, do you go knight f8 or do you...
Maybe knight takes e5.
Knight takes e5,
possible, yes.
That's what I'm wondering.
Knight e5, d5,
maybe.
Exchanging the queens and moving the knight should be okay for black.
So maybe not exactly yet.
Queen e2.
Queen e2, okay.
Queen e2, rook d1, just keep the tension on.
Rook d1 looks healthy. I'm also considering rook e1, but maybe it's not as strong. Maybe just queen e2, like you said, start with this one, then maybe rook cd1, rook e1, and then with the ideas knight f7.
That's also possible, but queen e2, in principle, it's always a big question, where do you put your rooks? It's maybe one of the most common things which lots of people are struggling to guess correctly. Etienne now he still has around 2.5 minutes extra on his clock to make up his mind about this.
Yep.
I like queen e2. Actually, queen e2, rook fd1 somehow maintaining the pressure.
Yeah, me too. Queen e2 looks like a typical move for this isolated pawn position. But like I said, he goes for it. Yeah, definitely. Etienne knows his stuff. Well, we have kind of experience versus youth today. I'm not suggesting that anybody here is old or too young, but I mean, Jan Malek just became a grandmaster last year.
Indeed, and he will remind you that one of his GM norms were in Aix-en-Provence in 2024. So, obviously, he likes to play here who wouldn't? And in Jan, it's no different from here for him, because he last year, although he didn't manage to win his last round game last year, but this year he was more lucky with that. And well, I would say that today's final round was a bit about this in general. So Pavel Eljanov was leading the whole tournament, we can say, team experience. He did play against Jan Malik, team use, and on board 2 in Jan, you can count him team experience, I guess, compared to Jakub Simon, and it did end 1-1.
Yeah.
So let's see if now the representatives of respective teams will match up here.
Win. Yeah,
Did send their champions to the tiebreak. So knight f8, a logical follow-up. Now white most likely is going to play rook fd1, because that makes
like
to
rook
me,
cd1. I really want to put the other one on e1. Okay.
Don't want to lose tempo.
You don't want to. Okay.
Just
Fair.
it's natural to go rook fd1. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. It is natural. Just I like my rook on e1 when I can sacrifice.
As this, I agree. The truth is that white did put his rook to c1 quite early in the game. But other than putting cd1, also quite often allows bishop takes a3 motifs. As the knight on c3 would be hanging.
Yeah.
But now actually white may also consider sometimes bringing the rook via d3 somewhere. And but of course black has to knight d5. It's quite a typical way to treat this position.
Knight d5. Yeah, knight d5 apparently is slightly unpleasant after queen h5. Because an f7 pawn is
okay, yeah, but this is something which is possible, and knight d5 is on the board.
Well,
now it's interesting. Now we will see, if because queen g5 is queen h5 g6, and
yeah, how do we handle this bishop? That's a good question. Apparently just queen f3.
Okay, well, it's a bit of a difficult decision to make. Queen h5. Yeah, well, it's obviously definitely based on precise calculation by an engine, but
yeah, at the board. Well, definitely you think about it. You think about queen f3 as well. The point is, in case of bishop h4, queen f7, and we take the bishop on b7. So we don't lose anything. That's important. Queen f3, I don't know. Queen f3 is not as good. I don't know why.
Well, maybe black is going to play something like f5 anyway. f6.
Just f6.
Wow, f6 anyway. And then and then there is a knight c3 problem. Yeah,
exactly. That's why queen h5 is much better. But still, like a lot of calculation, because g6, queen f3, and then f6. There are some weaknesses around the king, but nothing is much clear yet. Knight g4.
Well, another option is, of course, to exchange on a7 simply, and to play
this.
Play this. Well.
And then let's say bishop e7, queen e7, knight e4, or how do you want to go for it?
Queen f3 immediately.
Whoa.
And this supposedly is a blunder after f6.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that, and
yeah,
because knight takes c3 and then the d1 is hanging. Correct? I don't.
Yeah,
that's why it was important to insert queen h5.
Yeah, I'm gonna just tell you about the difference. In case we go queen h5, we force g6, and after queen f3, f6, there's knight g6 apparently.
G6 hanging, so of course it would not be working. But after queen f3, I'm curious what did he what does he want to play after f6?
Yeah, what does he want to play after f6?
Well, this is a rapid game, and we will find out soon enough. Also, it's not very clear what else black should be doing. I mean, f5 is the only alternative, which looks logical, but why to refrain from f6? Hard to understand.
Yeah, I wonder if, because knight g4, just knight c3, knight h6, maybe this is what he's calculating, and then queen g3 is coming, but after king h8,
not so much.
there's nothing.
Yep. I guess that we were gonna see f6 soon enough, and it will, of course, put big pressure on Etienne.
Definitely, like, okay, Jan definitely is calculating, not
This
sure.
f5.
Yeah.
Wow, this. Well, of course, this is a game of nerves a bit because, f6. Of course, it's very easy for us way to
No,
not to be afraid of anything.
Yeah. There was definitely something that he calculated that he was feeling that it's at not easy or difficult or complicated, and f5 is more simple because it's forces bishop e7, right?
Exactly. Yeah, bishop e7 is something which white cannot really avoid doing, which is not so bad.
Actually, white could maybe still try with queen h5. It's not as good as before, but you could try.
But I would actually expect him to go queen h5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's. I mean, it makes sense in a way.
It does make sense. I think the slight issue could be knight c3 and then queen d5. No, but then just
always have f3 there.
Yeah, apparently it's not as strong because bishop d5, not queen d5. Apparently bishop d5, and engine is saying after queen f7 there's nothing.
Yeah, but it looks tempting. I would believe that it looks tempting for white. I personally, also we can see the correct way shown by engine, but I like queen h5 actually, even though the numbers are not not so happy. I mean, for white, but queen h5 looks very interesting, and it psychologically also maybe when you play queen f3 already, so you don't play it with an idea of taking on e7 usually. Of course, he may.
Oh,
no, but he does take. He does take. Maybe he didn't like something in queen h5, so it takes on e7. Some simplifications. Taking on d5. Black took back and queen e3.
Okay, we have a pawn on d4, but this nice square on e5 for knight.
So he may try to regroup with knight d3 at some point to go to either f4 or c5. This looks quite interesting as well. Of course, black can pair it with knight d7 at some point, but knight d3 is an interesting option to keep in mind. He's still around 2 minutes on the clock, keeping his time advantage. Queen b7, a move which provokes white to go f3.
Yep.
Because it's quite natural. And,
well, not to an engine. Engine would go h4.
Yeah, I guess that the engine is not really concerned about leaving the hanging pawn on g2, which is maybe not hanging, true. But f3 is very logical because he most likely would like to go knight d3. I believe.
Yeah, f3 is absolutely the move you played. There's no doubt about it. Why would we give our g2 pawn? No need to calculate.
Especially in quick play,
exactly.
You need to play your moves. You can save time by playing your moves more quickly. And rook c5, he is placing his rook to this nice square.
Okay.
Asking black if he's willing to change the structure.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Would you?
No, not really.
No, because then b4 and you have this forever pass pawn. I wouldn't definitely not go for this. But then the question is, do I go for what? Rook d8 or something?
But also this doesn't seem like the right way to go because just now he did play rook c8. So knight d7.
Okay. Activate.
Another exchange coming up. Knight takes d7, I guess, is more or less forced.
I don't want to give up my knight yet, but I guess you're right. Can I give up an exchange by playing b4? Probably not. Yeah.
No,
Probably not.
not approved.
Okay, not approved. Yeah, that's definitely you don't do this in tie breaks. Yeah, when you're fighting for first place. Yeah, 97 or rook c8. I don't know. 97.
Yeah, you could do this in the second game if you lost the
Yeah.
first one, but yeah, 97 and b4 seems to be okay. I mean, I would feel that it's slightly easier to play for whites as.
I think so too. This rook on c5 is very strong, but I want to take advantage of pawn on d4 not being defended, so rook d8
Rook
is on
d8,
the
yes.
board. And I wonder if I go queen on e5 or
And bishop
c7.
c4, I think.
But rook c7.
Yeah, queen takes d4 is
Oh,
a
no,
check. Yes,
Okay, it's a check. That's a
Unfortunate.
very sad moment
Very-
for me.
very unfortunate, but
It's a very
yes.
unfortunate moment.
maybe there is a d5 actually.
Oh, really?
Oh, this is tricky.
yeah,
Maybe
there
queen
is.
e5. Queen
Oh
e5 is a
my.
good try.
D5 and black would probably, yeah, then that's, oh, I like queen e5 now. The point is, yeah, d5 and rook c7 being a huge threat.
I think queen e5 is gonna happen.
I think so.
If he sees d5,
yeah,
which
if
he most likely can't see. It's
yeah, because otherwise you have to be defensive to protect your d4 pawn or be prepared to give it up.
mhm.
And I am not ready to give it up, especially first line by engine. Bishop d3, bishop a2, bishop f1, queen d4, rook d4, rook c6. That's how
You're
I
trying to
play.
make a draw with white, but
No need, yeah?
queen e5 looks more ambitious and also more to the point to me.
I agree. I like queen e5, but time is ticking down. Only 4 minutes and 40 seconds for Inyan, while 3 minutes and 22 for Jan Malek.
Now, both sides are trying to calculate the consequences of queen e5, I believe.
Yeah. I think it's gonna happen. It is the most forcing way to continue, especially because, yeah, I don't know, after bishop b3, d5, it's very hard to defend for black to stop rook c7, and sometimes there's some
Can
sacrifices
be
on
some
the
queen
side.
d6 or something like
Yeah, I
that.
think we have to go
Because the
queen d6.
bishop on b1 is vulnerable.
Actually, that's the issue. Well, issue. We actually give up our b1 bishop.
You take on e6, yeah, and then there is a check and
Rook c8 and
Yeah.
e7, yeah?
and we end up in some drawish rook end
Yeah.
game there. But let's see how well now Ilian did spend his extra time.
Yeah.
Now he is level on the clock almost to Jan Malek, but I believe that he's gonna go for queen e5. Yes.
Oh,
it's
yes.
important. Now, of
Feels
course,
good.
well, Jan Malek, he's ready.
Definitely.
Now rechecking. Now we are basically in 3.5 minute blitz game.
Yeah, now we're in blitz, exactly. He's deciding between bishop c4 and bishop b3, I think.
Yep. I don't know myself if I see a significant difference between these two moves. Maybe there is none.
I don't know. Actually, I don't think there is any. He could start with queen
there
d6
is.
if he sees d5. Ah, there is the difference?
I can see the difference. I will quickly show it before
Yeah.
the guys will move on.
Okay.
If you go bishop c4,
Yeah.
c4, and we d5, we
Okay.
get to this line, for example, after
Yeah,
either
like
this
this.
or this. A check.
Yeah.
King f2.
Yeah.
Now you need to give another check because if you're not careful
Oh.
and you do this, there is rook c8 and rook
Oh.
takes c4.
Yeah,
if I'm not
this
mistaken.
could work. Okay, I mean,
Can lead to but it leads to a
Takes and
draw
then
anyway, yeah.
b2,
And rook
yeah.
b2, and it leads to a draw most likely because I need to go king f1, and that's gonna be a draw after.
okay.
Yeah, so maybe not such a big deal.
Okay.
But in any case, after queen e5, Jan Malek, he
He's
seemed
thinking.
to be ready to play his move, but instead now he's hesitating.
ready anymore.
He's hesitating, and he plays bishop
Yeah.
c4.
Okay.
And I believe we will see d5 the
Yeah.
board, d5 queen d6, and
Wow.
maybe we are going to see the line which he had in our analysis.
Yeah, definitely. I think we have to take queen d6 or queen e6, but let's say queen d6, rook d6, but I don't see any other way to
No, it's
continue.
very
except
forced.
yeah.
It seems like very forced, and it seems like very forcingly leading to a draw.
Yeah, this rook endgame, we will most likely see it. Rook will be on b1 and the other one, and our white rook on e8. And sadly, well, or luckily, black cannot play either rook b3 or rook a1 because rook is coming back to e3, protecting everything.
Yeah, it's going to be an excellent game. Of course, now it's White's turn to to recheck the lines and to realize that there is not much he can do actually here. And he takes e6.
Okay, he's going for it. Yeah, we're gonna see the endgame. Well, black could decide to take back with the bishop and continue to play this endgame.
F5 is endgame.
That's true. We cannot do much more. Well, f5 is hanging, but also I'm gonna go rook d3. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna change the evaluation most
yeah.
likely, but wouldn't do that. Probably if you want to go to rook's endgames, then it makes sense to start with rook d1 check and maybe rook f1 just in case, and after king g3 taking on b1 and going for this pretty drawish rook endgame.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I think we will see rook d1, but he's of course checking if it's okay. Yeah, rook d1, king f2, rook
f1. Yeah, here. Then this looks to be a 7 bishop f7 and yeah, queen and
quick moves.
After rook, yeah.
Yeah, you have to go bishop f7, takes, but now okay, rook b3, but king is coming to f4. Yeah.
No, maybe rather rook e5 and a4 idea, which is leading to a draw. Yeah, rook e5. I think that he's gonna play that. Now you have to exchange this pawn for. You cannot really effectively protect it actually because thing is that if you go king g6, then it's rook e6 check.
Yeah.
E6 is hanging, so most likely we'll trade. We will trade the pawns, and then white is gonna be after rook a3. Yeah, we can see from
there was a realization moment here.
Then most likely white is gonna move the rook and go for a d6 and trade the b4 with a6, which will lead to a draw. Unless, of course, anything strange happens. I wouldn't advise to players to go too low on time because 3 seconds. I mean, it's some extra time, but it's not like a huge amount of it. And of course, if you trust your blitz skills, it's fine. But I don't know. I would rather keep some safe half minute.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, 20 seconds with only 3 seconds. This is not over. There was the question in the chat, is it enough for black to win? No, of course, this endgame is a draw. The question is it enough for white to win, especially with 9, 8, 7, 6?
No, he has 20. He had 20 seconds and kept 6 seconds on the clock, which is not too much.
I would be worried if I were Malek. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's young, he trusts his blitz skills. White can start with h4, no need to change the structure quite yet. Maybe not giving up chances, maybe, well, there is a way to go rook d4, for example, but 6 seconds, this is just
not a lot of time. Okay, of course, they both know this is a drawn endgame, but Etienne will now not offer a draw yet, just because of 2-minute time difference. It can change some things.
By the way, they would have made the time control if there was any, but of course, this is a game where no time control except the 15 minutes plus 3 seconds is. So white may go for
h4 or h3.
H3, yeah, maybe more precise way. Yeah, after h4, h5 could make white little uncomfortable, but rook a2.
Well,
did he make it in 1 second? Guys, guys, what is? I mean,
I'm scared.
Why this is?
I'm scared for you, and he looks so calm as well. Yeah, not even prepared to make his next move.
Well, our times actually with mechanic clocks, you wouldn't be so sure when your flag falls down, but here of course, they may have a very good feeling
It's
for
fine with it,
H4 and Rook C2
Oh.
is going around, but this is
But-
going to lead to a draw after Rook D4.
Yeah.
Or he is gonna go E4.
E4.
Okay, he allows some
King F5.
complications, but not much of them. King F5, Rook E7 most likely is gonna happen, and it's.
You don't think Rook G4? G5 probably.
G5, G6. No, I think it's unnecessary for white to complicate matters here. I mean, it's a drawish endgame, whatever you do almost. So, black of course can try to go for some risky stuff, but Rook E7 is quite natural for white.
Okay, yeah, Rook E7.
There goes Rook F4 check.
Okay, starts with this. That's fine. Oh.
Proposes repetition, which is most likely going to happen. King F6, going to give a couple of checks, and we're going to go back. Well, maybe, we wouldn't go H5.
I like H5.
You like H5?
That was my plan of going Rook G4 at the first point after King
Maybe
F6.
he will go
H5.
I mean, with 6 seconds for
Yes, you go
for your
it.
opponent, you can try to go H5. There's not too much can go wrong for you. So it's not changing anything.
Okay, but he
But
now
he's-
has 16 seconds himself, so this will be very eventful. Oh, they are.
Yeah, he offered the draw after
Okay.
H5. So, okay, first game went in kind of. There was
Partie
one
nulle.
moment which
Donc dans le
was
premier
quite tricky.
rapide des départages,
for-
les
for
joueurs ont
white,
5
and,
minutes, le temps de caler
he
la
most
technique, et
likely
nous faisons le
was
match
not aware
retour.
of
You've
this
got 5
problem,
minutes
so
before
of
the
course there
second
will
game.
be enough time to analyze
Later.
afterwards, but
Not now.
but we will continue with the next game shortly after this. I don't know if there will be any official break and the games because we didn't hear the
arbiters,
information,
yeah.
and we see our players to have some refreshments. Also, there are some bananas surprisingly suddenly appeared on the tiebreak board, and it's actually impressive improvement of a tiebreak board. I guess that this wouldn't be so effective during the regular round. So it's be a little bit complicated.
Yeah.
So to have all this bananas around, but in this case for
nice.
45 minutes, which I guess the tiebreak is gonna take, it's not such a big deal, and so we have a short break now for our players to recover a bit from the first game, and I'm not sure what time we start the next one. We may get an information. 5 minutes
Probably
break.
5 minutes. Yeah,
5-minute break. So we
healthy
probably
break.
can also go for a short 5 minutes break, and
Yeah.
just before the next game, which may be a decisive one, we can we will be back.
We will be back, yeah. See you in a few minutes.
At Dole, we take great pride in our variety of ideas, fruit, and flavor. Behind our leading banana and pineapple products, our fruit line includes other tropical gems, such as mangoes and dragon fruits. Dragon fruits, also known as pitaya, are deliciously low in calories and high in vitamin C and fiber. Our diverse selection of mangoes is available year-round from different farms around the world. Rich in vitamin C, mangoes support your skin's collagen supply. Check for ripeness with a light squeeze and refrigerate peeled, cut mangoes for up to 5 days.
Première partie de départage, match nul entre les grands maîtres Malek et Inian. Deuxième partie, donc match retour. Si jamais ils font partie nulle, il y aura un blitz Armageddon dans la foulée. If ever it's a draw, same game, there will be a blitz Armageddon. Merci d'éteindre vos téléphones s'il vous plaît, pour être sûr de ne pas déranger les joueurs.
Okay, the next game has started. Game number 2 of the rapid tiebreak, and now Jan Malek is playing with white pieces. And what do we have on the board? A Sicilian.
Neither with bishop g5, probably the one which we didn't have. Well, I don't remember at least having this sharpest line of neither over the board in first 9 days of the tournament. But definitely one of the ways for white how to challenge neither of them most. And we will see if how Inian is gonna respond to this, because he's remembering 97, not the main, not absolutely the main line. Well, knight bd7, but quite popular. a3. Well, this move is extremely popular nowadays, and we can see that white did transpose to a Sozin type Sicilian attack. Also recently became a little more popular, was in time of Robert Fischer, of course, was one of his main weapons, but nowadays coming back to fashion for last year or so, I am seeing the bishop c4 setup more and more often. And Jan Malek is quite sure himself. He decided to speed up a bit for this game, because in the first game he was a bit behind on time for the whole game, but we saw that he's very comfortable with his time management, playing move in second, and was completely okay with this.
Yeah, he definitely looked very comfortable with the move, with playing on 1 second. And yeah, I feel like he was preparing, this opening in general, but maybe specifically for this match. He wanted to have this on the board, which it's very ambitious.
Yeah, he's going for it, and he wants to decide in the second game, most likely. Of course, it's an aggressive approach, which shows his intentions. Queen a5 is one of the typical moves how to
approach
fight against this, because double attack in a way, because knight takes e4 and queen takes g5 are threats. And in white to go for typical queen d2.
Queen d2, yeah, I think Jan is remembering if that's the right way to go. Well, bishop d2 doesn't make much sense. I think queen c5
is not the way to go, and giving up the bishop is also not in white's plans for sure. So queen d2 I expect to happen quickly.
Yeah, okay, indeed.
And queen d2, b5, bishop a2, and most likely a bishop b7.
Bishop a2 immediately, yeah, okay, so still playing very fast. Bishop b7. All normal. Is it time for a longer short castle? Can we short castle?
I think that maybe e4 is something
like
which you might take care of sooner or later, because black's next move is most likely going to be rook c8 in order to we know what.
Yeah, in order to play rook c3. And there, I just want to tell you that Arsenal in chat studied your game against Kasparov, and he really wanted me to tell you. And then after the game, this game, maybe I will ask you a question, or maybe now if you have time. Was the blockade of the c pawn the reason why he was able to slow play the position in the game?
Well, I think that it's very direct way of treating Sicilians, and why he after the sacrifice all black pieces came to a game, and this exchange extra exchange for white didn't really make any big difference.
Okay.
So bishop e7, and this supposedly is not the most precise move because it may allow something which is not very typically seen in
Really?
in these setups, and it's a move b4, which you from positional point of view wouldn't like to make.
Okay.
And the idea is that actually if you make some normal retreat, well, the queen goes like to c7, for example.
Yeah.
Let's just quickly show this. Then bishop takes e6, typical
Ooh.
sacrifice for three pawns plus an attack is imminent. It's of course a thing which both sides would consider now. I would believe that Jan Malek will think about this
You
quite
think so?
seriously. Yes.
Well, because he would probably think that queen a3 wouldn't make any sense. Yeah.
Okay.
It's long
Instead, he
castle.
went for long castle, which I'm not so convinced about. I mean, because black is ready to go for b4 stuff, or maybe just first rook c8 slowly. But we can be happy as spectators here because this is a sharp stuff. Both sides going for it. Black also did show his intentions by going to one of the sharpest lines of Sicilian. Rook c8, eyeing the c3 knight just in case, and king b1.
Okay.
And guess what is the best move by black by
Let's go.
Engine's evaluation?
Well,
I think that people who are carefully watching our streams,
well,
they already know.
Well, rook c3, queen c3, that doesn't bother you to exchange the queens when you go into this?
Not so much. I will castle later on and coming with rook c8. I understand. Well, there may be also a
Some
knight takes
tactics,
e4
yeah.
trick. Yes,
Maybe that's a point.
and instead, well, rook c3 also, of course, is was one of the ideas, but b4 is logical as well,
Yeah.
opening up the position a bit in front of white king. So it seems that a b4.
Is forced.
You can start with knight b3, surprisingly, because the b7 bishop is
Do you
hanging
think
in the end of the line.
knight
case-
d5 is possible here? Yeah, okay, here it is. Let's show this first.
This would be okay for white, of course. And
Do you think knight d5 works?
here, knight d5.
Yeah.
Oof. That's-
Again, I'm looking at my engine, which is slightly different than yours, I see.
It is indeed.
After
Not
e
sure.
takes
Yeah,
d5, I go a b4. Okay, he goes a b4 first. Okay.
yeah, we can, of course, analyze all of this
Yeah.
at home. How my
Let's see
good
the
friend
game.
used to say that this is for your homework. Very good idea. rook he1. Using the fact that castling is still somewhat complicated for black because he always has to look for knight d5 ideas.
In case, yeah.
Maybe he's preparing some knight f5, something to launch some sacrifices.
Yeah, in case of castle knight d5 works, and maybe do you think I should go a5 to be ready for this?
Oh, but then
Not
you give
that-
up the b5 square
Yeah,
strongly.
correct. What do I even play with black pieces here? Rook b8 seems a bit off.
No, yeah, rook b8 somehow it's losing tempo a bit, but maybe it makes sense to go rook b8 to create some ideas of bishop takes e4, for example, in the future.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm not a Sicilian player, so I exactly don't know the specific ideas, but I like rook b8. It does pose a threat.
Concrete, white can of course react with some prophylactic moves like knight b3 or which looks so tempting. I agree.
Okay, so
Yeah, rook b8 looks interesting. Yeah, rook b8 doesn't see because once you are not well. On the other hand, you would really like to keep your rook on c8 as a Sicilian player. I mean, not an easy decision to take, obviously, because the position is very sharp. Many options for black, and has also to check all the
Wow.
possible consequences.
very, very sharp position. After rook b8, I just checked white could play knight cb5. Queen d2, knight c7, king d8, knight
Knight
d6.
takes e6. Wow, but this is a bit.
It's very exotic, which
Yep,
is
definitely not typical.
well, which is nice because we are actually playing Trophy Dole. Yeah, we have bananas on the not on the board, but next to the
Very
board.
close. Very close. And now Etienne is a bit stuck here because, of course, he understands that this position may be very dangerous for him. So he needs to pick his moves carefully.
Yeah, and you can see Malak actually looking away, feeling fine.
Yeah.
No issues. Also calculating without the board. But okay, he's wrong great. He's gonna see it.
Yes.
Okay, I like it.
I'm not sure about knight cb5 is going to happen here.
If it happens, then wow, then I would
Heavy
be
doubts
shocked.
here. Heavy doubts for me.
Many doubts.
Yeah, I would believe that something more typical will happen.
What is typical here, though?
Yeah, well, maybe knight b. Well, no, I don't like knight b3,
Knight-
but maybe
yeah.
it's not a bad move anyway.
Okay. Yeah, you block this file.
Well, he needs to deal with the threat. I mean, because now rook b8 is
But then I would like to go h5 now.
still before, after knight b3.
Yeah, knight b3. Yeah, after knight b3.
Yeah, but then I may move my queen also, and rook d4 will become a problem for you because a queen on b4 may be a little uncomfortable.
It can
But
be.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of knight b3, but yeah, this particular case, would consider it. I mean, it's not like that I can never go back to d4.
yeah, you have a good point here. I like knight d3. It's safe. I don't like that it traps the bishop on a2 for the moment, but it's actually just for the moment. What about bishop b3? If we look at the
It's
same...
knight c5 ideas.
Yeah.
This I didn't like so much. I mean, it's not like knight b3 is my dream, but you know.
Yeah, that would be funny if that was your dream.
Yeah, knight b3 with a bishop on a2, not really.
Yeah.
But yeah, and all things considered,
Actually, yeah, you're definitely in a very interesting position at the moment.
I would say that knight b3 is kind of a more of a human move.
Yes, for sure.
And because of course we can see the options which are given by the computer, and he goes for bishop b3.
Okay.
One I didn't like.
Yeah, bishop. Wow.
So knight c5 is very natural now. Like knight c5 is,
Anything else but knight c5 would be a surprise. Okay, maybe he could consider removing the bishop first from the b7 square to a8, but that's a very passive. I think knight c5 will be on the board.
yeah, now it doesn't make so much sense anymore for black to remove the bishop because there is no threat of queen takes b2. So yeah, I would go for knight c5. Time-wise, also need to mention that is now the roles have changed. Jan Malek is around 2 minutes up on clock against Etienne, and we maybe will see also Etienne playing on seconds.
That would be exciting, definitely, but the game is so far from the seconds territory, especially in this Sicilian. A lot of blunders can be made. 8-6, okay, asking the bishop where to go.
Well, bishop on g5 is protected by a queen from d2, and if it goes elsewhere, of course, there are always some tricks with knight takes e4 available.
Do we go to e3?
I'm going to go to h4 actually because
You're still gonna go to
I think
h4.
the knight takes e4 doesn't work.
No, not yet. But can I go knight c5 first? Then I think we have a threat.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe h6 is interesting actually. H6 is kind of asking white bishop a question if he insists on being on this diagonal, or
You know, funnily enough, white could still play knight d5 here instead of bishop h4.
bishop h4.
Yeah, logical. But I just want to say this position is so rich in these tricks. Knight b5, knight d5. You just never know where's the moment when it's gonna hit you.
Well, depends. Yeah, of course. I'm not much of a neither player with black, and with white, I rarely go for bishop g5. Of course, I occasionally did so, but not very, not so many times. And knight c5, and so finally the logical things happen. Maybe, yeah, you said it, knight h6 first, and knight c5, and now maybe already creating a threat of knight takes e4.
I think knight f takes c4 is now a threat.
Curious what this, because then white has to justify his bishop h4 now.
Yeah, the engine suggests bishop g3 or bishop f6 right now.
None of these moves look human.
I don't know why not bishop f2. Apparently then bishop a8 would be very strong as well. Yeah, okay, bishop g3 makes sense. You attack the d6 pawn also.
I don't like bishop.
You don't like,
may sound monothematic, but I don't like this bishop on b3. Because with the knight on b3, as I said, there would be an option of moving the queen and rook d4.
Yeah.
And now these pieces are a bit stuck. I would say that bishop on b3 is now a little bit, well, it's protecting the b2.
It is, true. But it's not doing much, yeah. But I'm gonna ask you, bishop f6, knight cb5.
So I didn't even consider, frankly. But knight cb5, okay, queen d2, I guess no choice. Knight d6, king e7.
And rook d2.
And rook d2. And I cannot take on d6 because you have knight takes
e5 or knight.
e5 first, okay.
Maybe e5 first.
Interesting,
but then king is
But maybe I can take on d4 then. I mean, let's quickly check.
Yeah. Well, they're still thinking.
It's king here, and
no, first knight d6.
sorry.
Yeah,
of course,
important.
To insert this.
Okay, he's not gonna go for this.
And this, and something like that. I guess d4, knight b3.
Okay.
This is maybe just now. But back to the game because white played something a bit strange. Rook e2.
What?
He did this move actually did bring him a win today because I think that after rook e2 Pavel Eljanov resigned, but the position was completely different.
Yeah.
And it gives actually rook e2 is a soft move, a slow one. Of course, black now has many options. Seemingly bishop e8 being the best. Bishop a8, as we mentioned this idea already a couple of times here. That.
But also knight e4 is still an option. It's not. I don't know if it wins the material or not for black, but this is not a position I would play in a blitz game because we are closing in the blitz material. Well, at least I wouldn't go for it. It's very complicated. Bishop a8 though looks calm and collected.
Yeah, I guess bishop a8 prepares also some castling options for black. I mean, getting rid of these knight d5 ideas once and forever.
Yeah.
And he does play it.
Healthy.
We can actually tell our viewers that now the engine likes black's position.
Yeah.
Not like it's some huge advantage, but it seems that black's play on queen's side at the moment is more significant than, well, white actually haven't started any particular action yet.
No.
So somehow he is, in last several moves, he didn't really move his pieces much, and he just tried to stabilize, and it seems that black did a little bit of a better job in this department. Now the ideas of knight b5 are off.
Yeah. I mean, it does consolidate the black's position much more, and definitely a question for Jan. I mean, what does white play here? And we have Dole Bananas also dancing on the board. Well, that's always welcome in these kind of scenarios.
Well, maybe when you not when you have 6 minutes of time, but also one of the ideas after bishop a8, which becomes this a5, a4.
Yes, that's my original plan, and I
You wanted to go a5 exactly, but he does prepare well now to that. Time-wise, which is very important, of course. Time-wise, we have an equal situation on the clock around the call. Etienne is 6:33. Jan Malek closing down to 6 minutes at the moment, and needs to come up with something more energetic than his last moves were.
Yeah, I mean, if I go for something like G4, I don't think anything works, right? G4.
No,
probably
G4
uses
actually is
something
not
even, yeah.
exactly attacking anything, and maybe Black would have time for A5 even.
A5, yeah. But what do you do then? What do you do?
I'm not sure.
I need to play something.
Yeah, somehow, as I thought, the white pieces are stuck. Maybe try to swap the queens somehow. Can I do this in some intelligent manner?
Like knight A2?
Yeah, not very intelligent.
No.
No, I guess that it's like dropping material after knight takes E4. I mean, queen takes D2 and knight takes E4.
Yeah, should
That
be.
may be a problem.
That's
So,
passive.
yeah, also bishop H4 seems to be giving Black some extra motifs.
Is it time for bishop G3 now? No, right. Again, castle probably from black side. Or even A5. No, I don't know. I'm struggling to
Interesting, yeah.
find a move actually for white.
Well, this is silly and exactly when, of course, Black takes some risks,
Yeah.
some quite significant amount of risks, but Etienne is experienced Najdorf player, and Jan Malek, I believe that himself he does play Najdorf with Black, but he did opt for a very aggressive system. But at the moment we can see that it's looks like that Black is more active and trying to develop some. Well, bishop takes f6.
Okay.
Finally happened.
Something happened.
Yes,
This
but
time. But not good.
Yeah, our engines do criticize this a bit because they
Okay.
feel it's not the right time to do this. May have he missed that after bishop takes f6, knight f5, Black can castle comfortably, because that would seemingly give Black a big edge.
Knight a5 looks very scary after bishop f6, but yeah, just comfortable castle, and knight d6 doesn't do anything for white. There's no attack.
b3 is hanging, rook d8 is a pin,
Okay.
e5, bishop g5 is also not maybe improving White's position so much.
Exactly, yeah. But e5 is coming on the other hand from white side, but like there's no attack from white. He's taking the bishop, and let's see what Jan Malek had in mind here.
No, I bet he wanted to go knight f5 here.
Yeah, I think he's still gonna go for it.
Oh, okay, because well, Black is gonna castle anyway.
That's
then
true.
why would you take on f6 if you are not going to do something concrete?
Yeah.
Because then you are out of options completely.
Oh, that's
Black just
struggling.
wants to go to castle. That's quite an easy plan, and you should go for to grab a pawn at least. Although he must feel that it's not exactly the best way how to continue. Well, but it's.
Oh yeah.
He may not like knight f5, but don't see many more options for white here.
Yeah, and now you could see him shaking his head actually, now looking away.
Also, he spent a lot of time. Actually, he overtook Etienne. Now he's already more than 2 minutes down to compared to Etienne's time.
No, definitely not happy with his white play right now. I must say I like this rook b8, bishop a8, a6 plan. It looks, yeah.
And he kept his options with a5 alive.
Yeah, he indeed did. Yeah, white should have made some more responsible choices before with some knight b5s or knight d5s even. But in this case scenario, it's okay. I think he's still gonna try knight f5.
Yep. No, it's not. Well, it's far from over yet, of course, because we know that the things start happening mostly in the last seconds of the game. But I would also that Etienne is comfortable. I can see that he's actually in his zone the whole day today. He had a difficult game, but he managed to win that one. And of course, still early days in this game. And from all Malek is not very happy with how things went.
Also on time on the clock, 2 minutes against 5 minutes and 43 seconds. If Jan Malek will be the one blitzing out the moves after, let's say, 5 to 10 moves, I don't think he has a lot of chances to hold well.
Well, of course, in such a position, you really need a very direct plan, and it doesn't seem that Malek has one at the moment.
Would you play knight a5 and offer a draw?
No, it's too late for that. And you started off the game with maybe the most aggressive way to proceed in Najdorf. Then you need to be up to the challenge, and I believe that maybe he can at the moment question his opening choice, but he doesn't have too much time to do this because he's down to almost only 1 minute, and knight f5 is finally on the board. We could expect this to a little earlier, but I would believe that we can have a glance at the tournament hall as well, where the players and the visitors they can see the tie breaks on big screens, and of course everybody is waiting also for the outcome of the tournament, plus the closing ceremony, which is gonna follow shortly after the tie break. But of course, in order to have an effective closing ceremony, you need to have the winner of the tournament, because otherwise it does lose quite a lot of its value.
Yeah, no meaning to that tournament at all, and that's why we're here, where of course drama is happening on the board. 1 minute Jan Malek has on the clock only a castle by Etienne, not king of8, no, let's see. But I just wanted to say, maybe he's not as much, now I started to appreciate your move knight b3 instead of bishop b3. Only when it came to this moment I realized
Thank you.
how important it was.
Of course, lots of things changed during that, but there is some.
That was a very safe way to go.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that maybe this is one of the reasons why I don't put my bishop to a2 at the first place, in order not to have these problems. But still, after knight d6, of course, white has several interesting ways to continue. One I like the most actually, and is preferred by engine, is bishop e5. This is really an unpleasant way for white, because it actually does ask a very unpleasant question, blocks e5 from happening, and of course it's not forced, but bishop e5 is probably one of the most interesting ideas at the moment. Now there is maybe a side problem for black in this position is choice which he has. It's obvious to him that his position is good. He feels this. I know an experienced Najdorf player does know this, and
especially because knight b3 is an option, a5 is an option, bishop e5 is an option. Sometimes you have too many good choices and then you make a mistake.
True, and knight b3 does look good as well. I agree.
Yeah, after bishop e5, can I go knight c4 though?
I think that, and what if bishop takes c3? Take with the queen, Queen takes...
Pawn takes... Knight b3?
No, I wanted to go rook c8 actually.
Rook
first.
c8 first.
And there is also knight a4 idea somewhere hidden, but...
I think I would go king a2 in that case, actually.
Etienne has still extra 2 minutes approximately on his clock compared to Jan Malek, but of course now he has to make a choice, which is not such an easy thing to do. Like knight takes b3, c b3, queen b3, for example, looks like a decent way to proceed, but maybe, it seems that our engines are not entirely happy with this. And I guess rook d8, my move actually appeared at the board.
Oh, wow.
And e5 immediately, and bishop g5. This is actually a line which I suggested. Not sure if it's a good one. Engines do not think so. They claim that this is giving up an advantage, and queen d4
Yeah,
indeed.
because of this, because there's gonna be a queen exchange very likely right now. And now knight b3 would first be followed by queen takes b4. So the advantage then is slowly evaporating.
Melting, yeah, of course. Well, still maybe black on the pleasant side of a board, but yeah, there's some some nod. Maybe queen d4 was missed
Nice,
or
yeah.
underestimated by Etienne. So
Is it time for knight b3 or do you still want to go a5? Anything else? Queen a5 could be possible.
queen a5 doesn't look very natural because it allows f4 also maybe.
Yeah, and suddenly white has something to play for. So we did feel like Etienne feels comfortable. Yeah, I feel like knight b3 is the most natural.
Exchanges and going for a safe mode. Bishop f4.
Okay, what is this?
Bishop f4. Wow, trying to provoke white to go g3, which seemingly, which looks
Can
quite
you do
good
it?
actually. Yeah,
Wait,
g3 is happening.
wait a
Bishop
second.
g5 f4. And
Wait.
bishop e7. Okay, wow, interesting.
Whoa.
Now he just
No.
moved. He is not happy.
Shaking his
Well,
head.
yeah, he is not happy. And rook ed2. Now it's time for black to be careful. And knight f5 is maybe winning now, no? And knight
Winning?
f5 is not winning. All right,
Oh,
knight
it's-
f5. Well, knight f5 is a nice motive, but not winning, not quite winning. Rook takes d2, but it's already a nicer endgame for white.
Yeah, oh my, how things turn around.
He's gonna play knight f5.
Of course,
I
he's
guess.
gonna play knight f5. Yeah.
He has to take on d2.
Knight
Yes,
e7,
knight e7,
king
king f8.
f8. And now.
Ah, he had an option to go
Knight
knight
g6,
g6 check,
yeah.
which computer did like, but rook b6, bishop b7. We are in fairly equal endgame again.
Oh my, that means that we are very close to Armageddon right now, even though 15 seconds.
No, I think
for
that this is
Armageddon.
less equal than
Yeah.
the previous endgame. I
Definitely.
think lots of things can happen here because black can have a motive with g5. And look at this rook; it's almost trapped. On
This
b4.
rook is almost trapped, but also is Jan Malik's time. I'm a bit afraid again, being on 5 seconds. Okay, 5, he has a resource.
Changing the structure is not what I would be doing. And knight a4, so bishop g5 and then f6. And some ideas like this, yeah.
Actually, okay, knight
Or
d,
computer
knight
suggests
d5, knight
f5, yeah, and knight c5,
right?
yeah, and f5 is suggested
Oof,
by the
that's
computer,
tough. That's
going for creating a passed pawn. And here we see that it's a huge advantage for black on the clock,
Yeah.
which is important.
very.
Positionally, also, if he finds bishop d5 and f5, he goes for bishop d5 and rook
Okay.
b6.
Oh,
Rook b6, rook e4 most likely, yes.
okay.
Oh, grabbing an e5 pawn.
Nice.
Not.
Oh, we're grabbing the a5 pawn, but I feel like this bishop on d5 is very strong.
Yes, rook takes e5 and then
F5?
the f pawn is marching.
Uh-huh. Yeah, suddenly.
This is what can happen to you in Sicilian, of course. It's still, a couple of moments ago we had an seemingly equal endgame.
Yeah.
But of course now it's a big chance for Etienne to take this one home. And Malek was playing on 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, knight c3. He tries to make some exchanges, but he moves f5 correctly.
Wow.
And according to an agent, this is completely winning for black.
Indeed.
The f pawn is just
How do
very
you stop
far.
it?
I don't know, especially with 3 seconds.
With 3 seconds, I don't know.
Okay, rook now f3 is also winning.
How
And
do f3?
f3, rook f4. Oh,
I
he
think
went for rook
that's
f5,
fine.
which also looks very logical.
Yeah, rook d4, f3, rook
f3.
and not,
No,
oh,
he just
close.
barely made it. Barely made it with 1 second. And the pawn is running
Yeah, f3. Okay, maybe I can start with knight d5, and
Rook takes d5 is the most precise way, but
yeah.
also e d5 is
both is
possible.
winning.
Yeah, rook takes d5.
I think rook takes d5 is.
Oh, it's
best
just
to go.
completely winning after rook d5.
Yeah.
And he will calculate this and will
Yeah.
play it, and he's gonna take it.
I think we
And
are.
it's off rook f4, rook f5, and it's gone. And Etienne knows, and he wins this. Such an interesting tie break. And,
Et victoire du grand maître indien qui remporte ce deuxième Open Dole, donc ici à Aix-en-Provence.
Fantastic performance.
Wow.
Le grand maître Etienne remporte ce tournoi, il est le champion
de
l'Open Dole 2025. Vous pouvez encore l'applaudir, bravo.
You must be happy for a player who came extremely close just before last year, and he did take his chance and went for sharp stuff today in the second game.
Yeah.
Both players, they
Both
deserve a praise, of course, for a fighting spirit and great tie breaks. We are very thankful for such a performance from both players. And but there is a small problem, of course, because it means that our tournament has concluded.
No, Armageddon.
Guys, Armageddon was on stakes, of course, but also we
are actually glad that all players, are happy to finish the tournament. Well, most of them. Jan Malik, of course, having some bittersweet taste in his mouth right now after being so close to a tournament win. However, I feel like you said yourself, Etienne unlucky last year. And this year he finally made it to the top, and he's the winner of Dole Trophy 2025, getting also 8,000 euros and probably some bananas.
We shall see soon enough, because I think that the organizers will try to make everything possible to prepare the closing ceremony quickly. And it seems that our time with you guys is coming to an end. Slowly, we would like to thank you, all of you watching.
Yeah.
We do hope that you did appreciate our streams. We did try our best.
Yeah.
And we apologize if not everything was perfect. We will try to make it better next year.
Definitely, we are gonna try to improve, but hopefully you guys enjoyed some good chess, some good analysis, and I would also like to thank you, Sergei, for giving amazing insights for every position. I learned a lot, definitely, from openings, from strategies, and definitely enjoyed it, and also would like to thank the organizers and, of course, Etienne, for making this stream happen.
The pleasure was all mine, and I think that it was very interesting also for me, because we had several very interesting discussions on many different issues. I didn't mean the dragon fruit part, but many many things I learned as well, and it was a great pleasure to have such a team here. And that's I guess more or less it from us for this year. We should, I guess, invite you for next year. We hope to see you in person here, if we'll be around as well. And that's it for us. I think.
Definitely, you should check the dates for next year, Trophy Dole 3rd edition, 2026, and hopefully see you guys in Grand Pasino Casino.
Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.